Hello everyone and welcome to a new video with Mr. Jonathan Price, chairman at Yanda.io. How are you, Jonathan?
Yes, I'm not too bad, thank you, Ilaria. Yeah, feel quite good. We've had a nice week this week, so it helps lifting the spirits a bit.
Yeah, I actually heard it's gonna snow next Monday in UK again.
Hope not. Hope not.
Yeah, me too. So today we're going to talk about a really topical subject, non-fungible tokens or NFTs. They really hit the news when an investor paid $69 million for a digital file. Jonathan, could you explain to us please about these non-fungible tokens?
Yeah, sure, Ilaria. Well, perhaps I should start off by clarifying what the term non-fungible means, because it's not a word that is in everyday use. Non-fungible is a term from economics, and it's used to describe an item that is defined by its unique properties. This definition means that such an item is not interchangeable. So a good example of a non-fungible asset would be a house, because every house is different, because the people who live in the house fill it with different furniture and they change it and they paint it different colors. So every house is unique. And the unique properties of one specific house make it different from any other house. Fungible assets, on the other hand, are those where the individual items are interchangeable. So, for example, if you have a £5 note in your wallet, it's completely interchangeable for a different £5 note. There's no difference between the two. If you go into the supermarket and you're looking for breakfast cereals, one packet of cornflakes is interchangeable with the next packet on the shelf. There's nothing between them. Now, according to Ethereum, NFTs are tokens that can be used to represent the ownership of these unique items. And these tokens, NFTs, let us tokenize things like art or collectibles or even real estate like houses. And because they can only have one official owner at a time, and that ownership is secured on the Ethereum blockchain, nobody can modify the record of ownership, and so it gives a really secure type of ownership. So in summary then, a non-fungible token is a cryptographically secure way of representing a unique asset, or indeed part of a unique asset. Once the asset, whatever it is tokenized, it can't be modified. And because of the way the blockchain works, there's a cryptographically verifiable means of determining who the owner is at any time.
I understand. So what are these non-fungible tokens used for?
Well, it could really be anything. Given that the blockchain is a digital creation, assets that exist in purely digital form are the easiest to tokenize. So think of things like a JPEG file containing an image or a piece of art, or an MP3 file containing a song, or even a PDF containing a written document. You see, the creator of the item can tokenize it into a digital file on the blockchain, creating this non-fungible token. And that token can then be bought and sold in the same way that any non-fungible asset, like a painting, could be bought and sold in the physical world. And the recent headlines that you were talking about in when you introduced me are examples of NFTs being used in the digital content industry. The reason this is important is that content creators like artists have been getting a really bad deal from social media in the last decade, because the profits and earning potential of the things that they create has been swallowed up by the platforms that they use to share their work on. Think, for example, of a photographer who shares his work on Instagram. Okay, the photographs make money for Instagram, who use the platform to sell ads to the photographer's followers. So while the photographer might receive exposure for his work, more often than not, through these platforms, they don't receive any financial benefit at all. So they're essentially giving their work away for free.
Yeah, so what kind of content have been used to make NFTs so far?
Well, there have been quite a few. The most famous ones are digital images. When you introduced me, you mentioned the $69 million sale that happened at Christie's auction house. That was for an image of a piece of art by the artist called Beeple. And that piece of art is a picture called Every Day's the First 5,000 Days. Beeple has been producing a new piece of work every day for a long period now, and these were the first 5,000, all presented in a collage. It's a very nice picture, but that's a lot of money. $69 million is a lot of money. You could easily get a couple of Monet originals for that sort of money. Beeple has sold other images and videos as well, but not for quite as much as that. And other artists have sold images and videos too. Cat's a very popular subject for some reason. And technically anything digital could be sold as an NFT. For example, Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, sold his first ever tweet for quite a lot of money.
Yes, but surely anyone could find and copy that tweet, couldn't they?
Yeah, they could. And that's where it does get a bit awkward. You can copy a digital file as many times as you want, including the art that's owned by an NFT. And in the digital world, one digital copy is as good as another. In fact, they're indistinguishable from each other. But the NFT is designed to give you something that can't be copied, which is the ownership of the work. Although you can split the rights of ownership, because the artist could still retain the copyright and reproduction rights, just like with a physical painting. So anybody can buy a print of a Monet picture, but only one person can own the original. And whoever buys the original can actually appreciate it as a physical object. But because with digital art, a copy is literally as good as the original, you do have to wonder what it is that people are actually buying. Maybe all they're buying is, the bragging rights to say that they own this famous piece of art or something. Well, one of the interesting features anyway is that one of the good features for artists is if this takes off, if these NFTs take off permanently, the NFT can be programmed to pay the artist a share of the price when this NFT is resold in the future. So in other words, an artist can sell an NFT maybe for a small amount of money if they're not so famous. But if they become famous later and that NFT is then sold on to somebody else for more money, the artist can get a percentage of that, because the NFT can contain a smart contract which allows for the artist to get what the French call droit de suite, which is an intellectual property right that artists can benefit from.
I see. But you talked about NFTs being used for anything digital. Could they be used for real world objects too?
Yeah, there have been some attempts to connect NFTs to real world objects, often as a way of verifying them. One of the things that blockchain is supposed to be able to do is to help cut out fakes and forgeries. Well, Nike has patented a method to verify the authenticity of its expensive sneakers using an NFT system, which it calls Cryptokicks. So we'll see whether it's patented it. I don't know if it's actually using it or not yet, but we'll see how that goes on.
Yeah, so if I was interested in buying non-fungible tokens, where would I go?
Well, assuming you got that kind of money, Ilaria, there are several marketplaces that have popped up which would allow you to buy and sell. The most famous ones are OpenSea Rarible, and Nifty Gateway, but there are actually plenty of others. And I guess there's going to be a bit of competition between them, and over the years we'll have maybe one or two of them becoming the most prominent. But yeah, that's where you want to go: OpenSea or Rarible or Nifty Gateway.
Check it later.
Yeah.
These non-fungible tokens are very valuable. Can they be stolen?
Well, that depends. One of the good features of blockchain that it stores a record of each time a transaction takes place, which makes it much harder to steal something and sell it on than it does, say, to steal a painting hanging in a museum. Having said that, cryptocurrencies have been stolen before, so it would really depend on how the NFT is being stored. You know, is it in a hot wallet or a cold wallet? And how much work a potential victim would be willing to put in to get their stuff back if it is stolen. So difficult to say.
So my concern is that, I mean, if you're paying so much for art, you want to keep it for a long time. Artworks like pictures by Rembrandt have been around for hundreds of years. Do you think NFTs will last that long?
That is a really interesting question. The answer is probably, but there are a couple of quite big problems. First of all, there is a phenomenon called bit rot. Bit rot is a function of cosmic radiation, which is around us all the time. And cosmic radiation causes digital image quality to deteriorate. So that is a problem. Perhaps a bigger problem, though, if we're thinking about 30 or 40 years' time, is that file formats change over time. The file formats that we're used to today, like JPEGs, NFT, PDFs, and MP3s, these file formats might not be used in the future. So you might get into a situation where you can't open a JPEG file anymore because the technology has become obsolete. Of course, also websites go down. So if it's your NFTs in relation to a website, maybe that won't exist. And of course, people forget their passwords as well in their wallets. So there is a certain fragility to NFTs in the same way there is to physical art. Physical art can be destroyed as well if a museum burns down or something. And of course, if you want to look after your NFT, you better keep it in a cold wallet. And if you want to, avoid the cosmic radiation, you probably need to keep it underground in a mine or something. So there are ways of keeping them safe, but it depends how much effort you want to take, really.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's been a very, very interesting topic, I have to say. Would you like to add anything to the call?
Well, I'd like to finish with an art, as we're talking about art in this session, I'd like to finish with an artistic flourish. There is a guy on Twitter who loves writing limericks. Limerick is a specific type of structure of poem. And he's written up a limerick about NFTs. So I thought it would be appropriate to finish with that. So thanks to @Limerick, here goes. The NFT market has grown as 8-figure auctions have shown. The overall price is a worse climate crisis for art you pretend that you own. So there we are.
Thank you for sharing.
Don't say that Yanda doesn't have art on it.
I won't. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for joining us today.
Thank you, Ilaria. See you next time.
I'll see you soon. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.